having all our people joining in. I think we are still waiting for some more people to join in. Let's just wait for one more minute because we are joined by people worldwide. So let's just wait for one more minute and we'll start our session. Great. So we're going to start a session for today. We'll shortly be joined by other people as well. But let's just start. So thank you all for being here, and welcome to Habibi Academy's Digital Marketing 101. It's a webinar basically. So really nice to meet a lot of familiar faces and some new ones as well. My name is Jay, and today what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to demystify the whole everything related with digital marketing. Try to make it a bit more easy, and we will try to understand a general overview of what digital marketing really is and what it entails as well. So I'm going to start here. Just give me a moment. Great. So while we start, a few things to observe here is number one, let's just make sure that you're in an environment without any distractions. Try as much as possible to ensure that there are no audio distractions and nobody else to come and disturb you. Number two, just make sure that you have a stable internet connections. So that's going to be basic things. It would be great if your video is on, but then be comfortable. However, is it makes comfortable for you. That's so. Now, before we get into the seminar, I think one of the most fundamental question that we have to address here is like, why bother? Like, why would you understand more about digital marketing? What is interesting about it? So, well, what is interesting? Everything is interesting about it. Number one, because everyone is online. The entire world has moved on to the digital realm, and it's actually quite important that we ourselves get some understanding about how things happen in the digital realm. Everybody's business happens online. Everybody searches for business online. Everybody searches for products online. So if your business is online, obviously it is important that you should be able to understand how you can effectively target your customers and what are the technologies or basically the methodologies that we can use to do that. And finally, anything worth doing is worth doing well. So we need to understand a bit more into what is digital marketing as a science. How is it as an art? How does it create a fulfilling experience for the business basically and the customers and more importantly for you. So today, I mean, the realm is moving in a way that it doesn't matter if you are running a coffee shop or a beauty salon or maybe even a grocery store. Having a strong presence on the internet is absolutely essential for your business. You could be a small business or you could be a major corporation. You could be a small coffee shop by the side of your building, or you could be McDonald's. But then if you want customers to come to you, ideally you should be where the customers are. And the fun thing is, where are your customers? Your customers are entirely online. So that's the first thing that we need to focus on. Like, we are trying to reach a stage where customers are online, and we want to be able to market our products, our services to them. There was a recent data study that was done, which mentioned that an average person spends close to around 7 hours on the internet. So 7 hours is just, it's you and me. So if you discount sleeping time and the time that you spend on your daily activities, that's a third of your day that you spend online, right? Now, it's come to a stage where the internet is now in so many ways the place where we make our decisions, our choices, and it's only going to become more and more important as time goes forward. Now, in such a scenario, it's actually really, really important that a company or a brand, or even somebody like you and me, we understand the basics of how information travels on the internet. What is it that is so addictive about internet, and what is it that makes people keep on coming back again and again to make their choices there? So ignoring online marketing is sort of like opening a new business but not telling anybody about the business. So in this regard, it's actually very important for businesses as well as regular people as well, to understand more about how digital marketing can effectively impact their lives. As I said before, it's an art and it's a science, and there are techniques and methods that you can control. um, Ideally, it's not really what you sell, it's how you sell it. So on that note, let's try to understand a bit more about the essentials, the foundation of digital marketing. I want you guys to just have a look at this slide. You see, a lot happens on the internet every 60 seconds. This is just a very brief overview, which was taken on Jan 2023. So you've got like 500,000 plus apps that have been downloaded. Yelp has got 15 new reviews that happens every 60 seconds. In WhatsApp, you have 175,000 video messages that are shared. 1 million plus photos are uploaded. On YouTube, you have 400 hours of video content that is being uploaded every moment, and 700,000 hours of those videos are being watched worldwide, right? So I mean, it's a very noisy landscape, as you can see. I mean, there is Netflix, there is Skype, there is Twitter or X, there is Instagram. 65,000 photos are being uploaded on a minute by minute basis, which is a lot of bandwidth that happens, right? So in this noise, how do you differentiate yourself? How do you keep yourself as a business separate from maybe 10,000 other competitors in your same domain? And this is where we come to the crux of our argument. Like, why is digital marketing so relevant to the modern business landscape? Um, so I just want to give you a small overview about what the webinar is going to be ideally. It's a sort of a precursor to our digital marketing crash course, which is bound to begin on November 11th, next Saturday. The crash course is essentially for a beginner to understand more about what digital marketing is, and it is not really meant for people who already have an overview of what digital marketing is. It would give you a quick and a broad deep dive in a span of 10 hours into the whole modern landscape of digital marketing. So the outcome that we are expecting is, at the end of the crash course, you will learn how to create a website. You will learn how to market your website through Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, and other channels. How to make sure that people come to your website, and how do you make sure that they come to your website? You use technologies like SEO, SEM, and things like that. You will also learn during the crash course, fundamentals of AI, how to efficiently use tools like ChatGPT, Midjourney, Bard, and there are a lot of AI tools out there. Now, if this interests you and you want to be a part of the batch on November 11, feel free to get in touch with us. We will leave the contact information in your messages. I'm just going to do it now. Cool. So that's out of the way. Now, I think a little bit about me. I'm one of the founders of Habibi Global and a number of subsidiaries under it. I'm also the chief instructor of most of the courses that we take here. I am definitely not from an academic background. I come with professional experience. I've been doing this for the last 8 years. We have worked with brands like Talabat, Aston Martin, Jollibee, McDonald's, the Royal Opera House, and a lot of them. We've helped not just companies but countries as well in branding. How to ensure that they have the right messaging put forward. Countries are also, it's quite important for countries as well to understand branding. We worked with a few popular celebrities as well to try to understand how can we tailor their brand image that is going to match the public perception of them. So a bunch of interesting stuff that we've done. The company has been consistently awarded as the best branding agency in Middle East in 21 and 22. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we get some nominations this year as well. So that's about me. Now let's understand a bit more about the core principles of marketing, because I think this is the place that we have to start from. When we start digital marketing, I've noticed that there is a lot of content online. where they talk about how do you create the perfect Instagram post, or how do you do a perfect Instagram story, or how do you craft the tweets, things like that. Now these are extremely crucial and really really important for your expertise as a digital marketer. But with my experience of 8 years, and having hired close around 150 odd people in different countries, and working with, I think, probably 800 900 odd clients, my intuition tells me that it's not really at that point that we have to start the whole journey into digital marketing. So it's not as much about the tools as it is about like the core principles. Like what does marketing mean? Like what are you trying to do? Uh, to keep it simple, the idea is that you always try to create a product or a service. Once you create your product or your service, you need to ensure that people get to know about it. But you don't want everybody to know about your product. Maybe your product is meant for a certain demographic only. So the second part is targeting what audience is interesting for your product. What audience would be ready to really put in the money to purchase your products or your service? The third part is to market it. So you create, you target, and you market. In other words, what you're trying to do is you're creating a product, you're creating a brand persona or a buyer persona in this case. You're trying to match the buyer with the product, and then you keep on repeating the process. This is marketing in a nutshell. Um, but I think marketing is great. What we have to understand is like the fundamentals of digital marketing itself. Like what makes it so unique and why it's so alluring. 3 months back, I believe it was, I have read a post on LinkedIn that says that an average digital marketing person, probably in the mid level of their career, earns close to around 130,000 USD. This is after 2 years of experience. So, as a career prospect, it is extremely important, and it actually appeals to a certain mindset. There is something about creativity, something about storytelling. It is psychology in action, and there is something that is there for the deeply analytical person as well. You can actually target and understand how efficient are your marketing strategies. You can use tools like analytics to understand how many people did your ad or your marketing efforts reach, and how efficient was it. Like, you can measure the results. And to be very honest, this probably is the first time in history that we have an option to quantify marketing. Generally, marketing is just fluff, right? I mean, you pay an agency a bunch of money and you hope that they do their best. But digital marketing, you can actually quantify it. You can measure it with matrices. So what is digital marketing definitions? Simply promotion of products or brands using digital technologies. I think we got that part right. Second would be creating a well-defined strategy to get the maximum exposure with minimum effort. I mean, this is always something that we have to aim for in my professional experience, which is try to get the maximum exposure with minimal effort. So the part that we have to remember, I think, quite importantly, is the word strategy. We will come a bit more into the strategy part shortly. Third is we have to craft an enduring image of a brand or a service that generates value. How do you do that? I mean, it doesn't come across accidentally, right? I mean, you have to be able to create something that makes sense to your target demographic. So let's say that you're Starbucks, you are aiming at a certain demographic, and you want to present your drinks, your beverages in the best possible light that reflects your values. You could be a liberal brand, you could be a more conservative brand. We've got the example of iPhone, right? I mean, iPhone appeals to a certain market mindset. I mean, it is meant for everybody, but then there is a certain targeted demographic that Apple focuses on. So the idea, the goal, the end goal of digital marketing, I would say, is to create an enduring image of a brand that generates value, basically. So and these words might seem like jargon, but then there is a tendency, generally, of making digital marketing appear more complicated than it really is. It is actually very straightforward and really simple. But that said, if you want to get the best possible results out of digital marketing, there is one part that we can't agree, which is very important, and that's strategy. But before we enter into the strategy part of it, I want to basically really hammer in the difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing. So you see, Digital marketing, like we discussed now, it's marketing done through digital channels, and that's it. So when we are talking about digital marketing, we are talking about things like SEO, or maybe SEO. I hope you guys know, which is search engine optimization, or you use social media, or you use pay-per-click ads, or online Facebook ads, maybe Instagram ads, or anything like that. Basically, you're using whatever available digital channels are there for you, and then you're using it to reach to your desired customers. There are also techniques in digital marketing like email marketing, or maybe website optimization, or a bunch of things like that. All these things we are covering in a course in detail. But for your overview, website optimization is to optimize, or well, reinvent your website in a way that is going to organically attract people to come down to your website. Now, compare all this with your traditional marketing, right? I mean, traditional marketing uses things like traditional media, basically things like, TV ads, maybe radio ads, newspaper ads, maybe billboards, basically anything other than digital. Um, but the thing is, traditional marketing, although it has a tendency to be looked down on in these days, and my company, we are a digital marketing company, but the truth is that traditional marketing has its place. You can see that there are companies who are still spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even millions of dollars, to market themselves traditionally on billboards, on TV ads, on radio. I just have two funny examples of Google and Facebook using traditional marketing, advertising them on billboards, which is interesting. But you see, there are actually significant advantages of choosing digital marketing over traditional marketing. Traditional marketing is going to give you only a limited audience, right? So let's say that out here in Dubai, let's say that you have a billboard in on the side of the Sheikh Zayed Road. Now, the billboard is going to be visible only to the people who are traveling in that part, or maybe who have the convenience to look at a billboard. But when you compare that with digital marketing, you can reach the maximum number of people at one go. So ideally, you just take a few seconds to craft a tweet, maybe create a post. You can reach worldwide, and as many mobile phone users as possible in a matter of seconds. Traditional marketing is more or less considered as a global marketing, right? It's like a one size fits all kind of marketing, which I feel is probably not the right way to approach marketing. For instance, if you're selling Mercedes Benz, you don't want to appeal to the consumers who might be interested in Toyota Corolla, or maybe some other car brand. Similarly, if you're trying to market, or you're trying to promote a brand like Mazda, you don't really want to promote that to somebody who's interested in using only Bentley, right? So traditional marketing has got this downfall, which is it's trying to create a one size fits all kind of marketing, a global marketing mindset. Whereas digital marketing, you can actually target specifically the people who are interested in your products. So you don't have to create a one size fits all kind of thing. You can create your brand messaging, you can position your brand all effectively directly towards the particular audience that you want to target. Traditional marketing cannot be versatile. I mean, you are trying to appeal to a large mindset of people. It's going, your creativity is going to be sacrificed in so many ways, right? I mean, you have to adhere to the guidelines of the medium that you're using. So let's say that you're trying to do radio ads. There is going to be a certain guideline that you have to follow, which is going to limit your creativity in so many ways. Digital marketing can be extremely versatile. To give you an idea, we have several clients who have decided to start a certain campaign to promote their products or services. Probably 3 or 4 days down the line, they realize that, oh yeah, this campaign could be effective if we change maybe this word, or maybe we add this image. You can do that in a few minutes in digital marketing. Whereas for traditional marketing, you would have to literally wait for months to get your marketing piece in front of the people. And if you want to change the aspect of it, it's going to be an unimaginable horror. You can't pull back an ad that already appears in a newspaper, right? And this is the last point, basically the delayed communication part of it. um, any kind of traditional marketing is going to take you anywhere from maybe 3 weeks to 1.5 months, and in some cases, if you want to really target billboards after all the permits and the legalities, it might take even 4 months or 5 months for you to really reach in front of your consumers, your target audience. Digital marketing, as you all know, it's like spontaneous communication. It's as simple as sending a message. So that's why it's quite important that we or well, basically all businesses try to pivot their efforts to ensure that it reaches in a large extent to the digital audience, the audience who are captive online. Now, digital marketing is actually a whole lot easier to measure and to track. You have, like we discussed previously, you have a bunch of tools. You've got analytics. You've got, if you're using Meta, which means you're using Facebook or Instagram, you've got something called Meta Insights that gives you an insight into how your ad is performing, or how your post is performing. What demographics is it reaching? What is the level of impressions that it has? um, if you're using Google, you've got something like Google Analytics, and each of these platforms, YouTube has got YouTube Analytics. Each of these platforms allow you to really measure dollar to dollar what is the return on investment that you're gaining from each of these things. So we can accurately track our course and our results and everything in between. It can change in real time as well. Again, while you comprehend that, I want you to compare that with having to wait for months, probably best case scenario maybe weeks, for your ad to appear on a magazine or a billboard. And it's not really surprising that a lot of smart businesses these days, just from our experience in my company, we have people who are in carpentry, people who are plumbers, basic electricians. Ideally, the industries that you don't associate with digital marketing, trying more and more to seek out a way to advertise themselves online. And that, which is a really really good move towards a smart way of reaching your customers, basically. So you can't measure clicks on a billboard. You can't comment on a newspaper article, but you can do that on. So you can get your response instantly. It could be a good response, hopefully not a bad response, but either way, a response is a response, and you get that instantly. So that's what happens on this digital marketing platform. Now, one of the biggest mistakes I feel, what people do, well, marketers do, and even businesses, what they do is they enter into the whole field of digital marketing without really looking on strategy. So now strategy is the foundation of any good marketing campaign. Uh, in a way, it's not very different from the other kinds of marketing. You first understand the fundamentals, the principles, the consumer psychology. You try to craft a narrative. You try to make something that creates a sort of storytelling response from your audience, and then you allow them to give vent to their needs, their desires, their wants, and you market it, you craft it effectively in an engaging way. Now, the question is, it's quite easy to talk about strategy, but then how do you develop a really good digital marketing strategy? Um, there are so many answers, and there is no one right answer. I've always felt that you have to look at your final goals. Like, as a business, what is your final goal? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to sell a product? Are you trying to promote a brand? Are you trying to create awareness, or do you want somebody to use your services? So to save time, energy, money, and a lot of heartbreak down the line, what you need is a solid strategy for your digital marketing efforts. And if you don't have the solid strategy, you will see shortly that there are a lot of instances where companies fail in quite tremendous ways, by the way. So once you identify your strategy, the next step is understand the tactics. The tactics of how do you reach your customers. I mean, you have a lot of people, like the lady who's posting her cat pictures to sell dog food. You have a lot of people who are doing marketing for the sake of marketing. Being an agency, I feel that we are also guilty as charged in at least in our beginning stages, I hope, where you are forced to do marketing on a channel that your customer says that they want you to do marketing on. My competitors are on Instagram, so I want to be on Instagram. Hey, why don't you create some interesting tweets for me? Why don't you create something that's compelling, like XYZ competitor has done? So this is where the tactic part comes. Because a lot of people are simply creating content and randomly posting them here and there, for the sake of marketing. And this is useless. It won't give you any results unless you have the tactics in place. We'll reach the tactics shortly, but before that, I just want to touch upon what would be a foundational strategy that we use for digital marketing. And as aspiring marketeers, I feel that you guys would have to have a sort of solid understanding on the model. Now, this is what I like to call the 5B approach, and this is the foundation of any digital marketing strategy. uh, the 5B, the first is the business model, second would be your buyer persona, third would be your branding, fourth would be the broadcast channels, and the fifth would be your buyer journey. We will very briefly touch into each of these things shortly. So this is a foundational strategy before you enter into Instagram ads, SEO, SEM, paid ads. This is you asking yourself the question, what am I trying to accomplish here? So let's see if this will help us to answer those questions. Now, the business model, which is the first part, business model is how you package your goods. It's how you service your customers. It's basically your pricing, your profits, your revenue. How are you ensuring that your customers are getting the products that you're selling, or how are they responding to your services? This is entirely a business model. So let's say that your coffee shop, your business model is you make interesting coffees probably, and you sell it to your customers. They pay you for the coffee, and you earn your revenue. You reduce your costs, and this is your business model. It's a simple business model. There is a service that somebody wants. In this case, there is a product, which is a coffee that somebody wants. You create the coffee for them, and they pay you money for. So it's an exchange of value, right? So that's the business model part. Now, before you enter into business model, you need to understand if you're going to be using business model for your digital marketing efforts. How is my business model going to fit strategically my digital marketing? So the model should fit your marketing efforts ideally. Second is the buyer persona. This is something that's very interesting, and which has taken my attention for a long time, at least during the beginning stages of my career, which is a buyer persona is you trying to dream up a person who is going to be your ideal customer. So let's say that you have amazing t-shirts that you want to sell to, let's say, teens, right? So now your buyer persona is going to be a teenager who is, let's say, 16 years old, who might enjoy memes, who might enjoy most contemporary bands, or somebody who's got interests that are keeping up with the general trend of teenagers worldwide. This is your buyer persona. So buyer persona is going to be somebody who is going to be segmented based on their age, their gender, their geography, their spending habits, like how deep are their pockets, or how shallow are their pockets. What is their intent? Do they want to buy it, or are they just browsing? So buyer persona would help you to really target a certain user. So you don't want to really spread your efforts too thin. You don't want to send it to a bunch of people without understanding who your buyer is going to be. Something funny is, during times when I meet up with my clients, and I ask them, like, what is your buyer persona? Who is your ideal buyer? They usually come up with the answer that anybody with money is my buyer, which is an interesting answer, but really that's not how you run a business, right? When you create something, you need to understand, who am I selling this to? Who is the person who will be purchasing this from me? So this is where the buyer persona comes in, and you have to be extremely focused, well, almost laser focused, to ensure that you have the right buyer in your mind, because you don't want to make the mistake of selling milk to somebody who's lactose intolerant. Similarly, you don't want to market maternal wear to people who are in their late 70s. So there are product and buyer fit that you have to foresee and adhere into. So there are so many things like income, and it is actually a science where you have to create the buyer persona in an elaborate way. The more detailed, the better, so that you can properly sell your products and your services to them. The third part is branding. Now, branding is actually very, very interesting. A brand is something like a gut feeling. You can't really define what a brand is. When I say Coke, it's a, it makes you feel a certain way. When I say McDonald's, probably it makes you feel a certain way. When I say Starbucks, it makes you feel a certain way. You're not really thinking about the coffee so much as the whole nebulous thing that is called as Starbucks. So what really is a brand? Brand is something that knocks you in your gut, that you feel, okay, this is what it stands for. This is the messaging. Now, branding in digital marketing, how it is going to apply here is that it's about what colors you use for your content. what logos, what font do you use. It's about how you want people to perceive your business. Like, what message do you want to put forth. In creating an effective digital marketing strategy, I would say one of the hardest things to do is branding, honestly. And also, it's all the one of the most overlooked elements in digital marketing. People take brands for granted. Like, stick a logo, stick some flashy colors, and you're done. Branding is actually much deeper and more long lasting than even your business model in so many ways. So it's again an art and a science, two of my favorite words, because as far as digital marketing or even branding is concerned, uh, if you ignore the science part, you're just going to create a lot of flashy colors. If you ignore the art part, you're going to create a lot of boring messages. So it's actually a syncretic joining of both art and science. The fourth pillar is the broadcast channels, and broadcast channels are ideally, it's an easy concept to grasp. These are your platforms. Uh, it is easy concept to grasp. It's actually quite tricky to execute. So broadcast channels are the platform that you use to get your products and your services across to the maximum number of people. In my experience, most businesses, what they try to do is they try to approach this part backwards. They realize that some businesses are doing quite well on Instagram, some businesses are doing quite well on Facebook, and they rush there. They try to create or recycle actually old content, trying to make it look appealing. They hear that everybody is on TikTok, and they go down to TikTok. They hear that LinkedIn is actually a platform that gives you a lot of credibility. So they head down to LinkedIn and create a lot of endless compelling posts. Since you have ChatGPT these days, it's quite easy to do that, right? Um, the biggest hurdle here is, you would as a business, you would have to choose what platform actually fits your business. Is your business a business that is more visually oriented? Because if it is, then Instagram is something that you cannot avoid. Is your business something that targets a bunch of communities? Does it play into the emotionality of things? If it is, it's very hard to ignore Facebook. Is your business something that is a bit more hip, contemporary or trendy? It would be safe to join TikTok, if that's what you're doing, or maybe even YouTube, to create interesting visual contents. So the right fit with the right channel or the right platform is extremely very important when we are starting out our journey as digital marketing. And for this, we need to understand the strengths and the weakness of each of these platforms that we deal with. Like, what is their LinkedIn is sometimes used like Instagram, and Instagram is sometimes used like Twitter. But each of these platforms have algorithms that are built into them, that has got specific strengths, specific ways that you can tweak the algorithm to act in your favor. So that's about the broadcast channels. And then finally we enter into the buyer journey. um, to put it simply, it's buyer journey is a result of all the four things that you've done previously. So it's actually useless if you have a right business model, you have a great branding strategy, you have the right platform, but nobody ultimately comes and buys your products. It's actually useless, right? So buyer journey is the part, or the final part of the strategy. We're trying to ensure that the buyer knows exactly what action to take to come and purchase your products. It is the art of ensuring that the revenue gets transferred from, or at least dollars gets transferred from the buyer's wallet to the business wallet. So this is the buyer journey ultimately. It's a part where you map out the steps. You map out the steps for the consumer. You ensure that he can arrive at your business without having to go through a lot of gymnastics, right? So there are different words that people use for it. Some people call it the marketing funnel, some call it the sales funnel. But be that as it may, the buyer journey, the journey where somebody who has absolutely no clue who you are, to a stage where they're going to come and pay a certain amount for your products or your services. This part is something that is going to be the end result and very crucial for your digital marketing strategy. So this is the 5B model of strategy. Yeah, it is not an academic strategy. It's something that I felt resonates a lot with me. As you enter into the field of digital marketing, and once you learn more about the different aspects of marketing, you will definitely come across your own strategies that you could build to solidify the foundation of your marketing plans, basically. Now, the next part is the tactics. Now, tactics is all about actionable steps. So we have the strategy, we have the tactics. Strategy is your idea. What am I going to do? It is your inspiration part. Tactics is your execution part. So, to give you an example, a tactical question for a digital marketing expert is, what is the best time to post on Instagram? A strategic question is, should my business be on Instagram anyway? So this is the difference between strategy and tactic. And once you have your strategy in place, once it is set, then you have no way other than creating the best tactics to employ it. But before we enter into specific tools of digital marketing, I just want to talk about a bit more of the general distinctions between different contents of digital marketing. There are several patterns that we feel are common across any platform that we do. It could be Google, could be Instagram, could be Twitter, Facebook, anything. So there are, as far as the content is concerned, there is organic content and the paid content. Right. So let's start with the organic content. What do I mean by the organic content? Now, organic content is content which you have created and for which you have not paid anybody to get promoted. Right. So it's like anytime you're creating a Facebook post, you're creating an Instagram reel, you're uploading a video on YouTube, you're actually not paying the platform anything. It is free, right? So this is the organic part of content generation. You're organically uploading things onto these platforms, and there is also an organic trend that people can reach you. They can reach you without you having to pay these platforms the big bucks, right? So this is organic content. It is basically content that you upload where you're not paying anything to any platform. The paid content is one in which you pay the platforms to promote the content. Now, it's basically advertising. So the biggest players in paid content are platforms like Facebook. They have Facebook ads. You've got the Instagram ads. You have Google ads. You've got YouTube ads. I think these are the big four kingpins right now. So these are the paid content. Now, a paid content, the platform ensures that your content is visible to the audience, right? Why? Because you're basically paying them. So uh, if you ask me what is more important for a business to get in front of their audience, it is going to be a hybrid of organic content and paid content, but you can never ignore the paid content part, because that is going to be one of the biggest uh, aspects to help you and to ensure that your products reach your target audience, and you're being helped by the very platform that you're advertising on. So that's paid content basically. um, Next would be in terms of the search part of it, so it's actually the difference between search and discovery. This is applicable again for all platforms. It could be Google, Facebook, Instagram, any of these social media channels. Now, what is the difference when it comes to search and discovery? So um, one important thing I think you have to keep in mind is intent. So intent is basically intention. Like, what could be the reason that somebody is using a platform? Let's start with, for instance, search, right? So when you're searching for something, you have a certain intention. Maybe you want to buy a certain product. Maybe you want to know something. You want to buy a service. You want to probably research on something. So you go to Google and you do your search, right? You can't Google nothing. So you're there on Google to do something, and you already have an intention when you're coming on Google, right? You are going to ask a specific question and you will get a specific answer as well. Now, this is where things like SEO and SEM, the Google ads, all these things comes into play. So you by SEO, what you're trying to do is you're trying to ensure that if a user comes on Google and searches for a certain question, without having to pay the platform or Google in this case anything, automatically they are directed to your website. So this is actually very important, or at least very interesting. How do you do that? How do you ensure that somebody is going to come to Google and ask something that is relevant to your industry, and how do you ensure that they come to you? This is where a lot of psychology comes into play. You have to envision how would somebody search something. You would even have to, like, some of the more purists among SEO specialists talk about purposely creating typos, because sometimes when you search, you might create a typo. There are instances where you would be helping people come to your website with the help of typos as well. So this is search. Search is basically somebody searching specifically for something on Google, or any of the lesser known search engines, and coming directly to your site. Discovery, on the other hand, it applies to things like Instagram and Facebook and the rest of the platforms. So on a good Sunday afternoon, if you're scrolling through Instagram, you are not really looking to purchase anything, are you? You are actually there for entertainment, probably to pass the time. You might be interested to see the latest celebrity news. So you're there basically to kill time. Uh, uh, a business has to be shrewd enough to be able to enter into your feed in an organic way so that you discover them. I mean, discover in quotes, because discovery is not accidental in this case. It is a targeted way that you approach the users. So it's a way for people to go through this content through on their Instagram, on their social media channels, and ultimately chance upon a content that you've posted. So this is the discovery part of it. um, it is actually a bit different from the search part of it. For search, you're focusing on things like SEO, things like blog, things like keywords, trends. You're doing the analytics. You're trying to understand more about what could a person be searching on. It's a lot of guesswork as well, right? I mean, guesswork along with things like the Google Keyword Planner, the Trend Analyzer, things like that. In discovery, you are competing with the latest movie, the latest restaurant, the latest hip happening that's going on Instagram. So you have to be more creative here. You should be able to tailor your content in a way that is going to be appealing to somebody who's, so even if they are not really going to come down and purchase something from you, there is still a possibility that they can be converted to a customer down the line. So that's the search and discovery segmentation. Now we quickly go into some types of digital marketing. So this is not really a comprehensive list, as you might be knowing. It's actually a good place to start, I feel. So you have the social media marketing, you have the content marketing, you've got the SEM, which is search engine marketing, you've got mobile marketing, email marketing, and SEO. We're going to quickly zip through each one of these marketings, not in a greater depth. I just want to give you guys a sort of a brief understanding of what each of these things entails. Coming to social media marketing. So social media marketing is like, marketing on social media to increase user engagement and drive traffic to where your brand lives. Where does your brand live? Your brand lives on a website maybe, or your brand lives on some social media page. So it's a way to increase user engagement and make sure that they come down to your place. Why would they come down to your place? They would come down to your place maybe to get more awareness about your brand, maybe to purchase your products, maybe to look into your services, things like that. So social media marketing relies on the mantra: you create a need, you drive the desire, and you deliver results. So out of all the ways that you could market a brand or a product or a service, social media marketing is the easiest to enter and probably the toughest to get the right results. There are several modules that we generally use for social media marketing. One is a user-generated content. User-generated content is content that you and me, we generate. We create those posts. We upload those videos. So it's a user-generated content. It's media-focused content. If you see most social media marketing, it relies on images. It relies on shorts. It relies on funny animations, things like that, on memes. So it's a media-focused content, and it's an engagement-focused content, because it's pretty useless if you're marketing something on social media and nobody cares, right? It could be really amazing artwork. It could be something that is very profound, but nobody cares. So it's an engagement focused content. The goal is we have to have engagement of people, ideally, or buying customers. Now there is a process to it. First, you create a goal. You understand what is it that you're trying to accomplish. You understand your target audience. Remember the 5 B's. You understand your target audience. In this case, this is the buyer persona. You look into your competition socials. You want to see what they're doing better, because ultimately the goal is you want to be able to take one customer or maybe a million customers from your competitor directly to you. So you need to understand what are they doing that's making them your competitor. And you need to do a social media audit. There are tools for each of these processes. Things like social media audit. You use some tools like Hootsuite. You use Brand Day. For looking at your competition socials, you have the listening tools, the social listening tools. To understand your target audience, you can use HubSpot. To create a goal, Well, to create a goal, all you need is a pen and a paper. But that's very important in creating the process of a social media marketing as well. Choose the right platforms, like we discussed right now. Seek inspiration from trending content. This is very important. You need to be hip with the times. You can't be hoping to create some, and time travels differently on internet. 1 year on internet is equivalent to probably 50 years in the real world outside. So you need to be contemporary, and you need to catch up with every content that comes, if not daily, at least on a weekly basis. Trends change, trends evolve, and this is why they're called memes. They evolve. You would need to create a content calendar. A lot of businesses and a lot of digital marketeers, they enter into random acts of marketing, like a post here, a post there. There are a lot of AI tools that can create a lot of videos. You've got tools like Canva that can create a lot of images and graphics, and it's all so easy. So people tend to post half as early without really a targeted, disciplined way of posting them. So you need to create a content calendar. A content calendar is basically a calendar that is going to look at every single day of the month, and what are you going to post, and on what platform, and on what dates and what times, and what are these content. So ideally, what you're trying to do is you're trying to create, or you're trying to foresee the content for the next 1 month beforehand. So you need to create a content calendar. And finally, as with any good process, you need to test, evaluate, and repeat. So that's the process of social media marketing. Content marketing. Content marketing is trying to promote your products and your services with the use of, well, basically media, words, text, images, graphics, infographics, things like that. I have listed on the screen six of the most popular content marketing tools these days, but this keeps on growing. So you got the blogs. Most of you know what a blog is. It's basically a platform on which you write stuff about your products or your services, or your clients' products and their services. You have infographics. So infographic shows about the different trends in their industry. It gives people information, but in an engaging and a compelling way. You can create videos. The irritating YouTube ads that you see, this is an example of content marketing. You can give them free ebooks. Why would you give somebody a free ebook? So there are several businesses that tries to establish themselves as an authority in their domain. Why? Because the more credibility that you have for your business, the more chances for customers to come down to your place and actually buy your goods. So you'll find a lot of businesses that are offering free ebooks, free PDF, free white papers, things like that. There are podcasts. You'll see that HubSpot has got a podcast. Google has a podcast. So a podcast is generally a way for people to engage with the audience in a different media, through the medium of listening. You have case studies. So you do these things by creating these interesting content, and mostly giving them away for free. Which sounds very counterintuitive, but then in marketing there is a pattern where you give something for free, you tend to get 10 times value for the products that you actually sell at a revenue. So we will definitely be entering into aspects of that during our course. Again, definitions are important. So content marketing, it's a process of creating an interest in a brand's products by creating and sharing online content. So what are we doing here? We are actually bartering value. Usually commerce is you give value in return for money. In this case, you're actually bartering value for value. Or in this case, if you want to think about it a bit more skeptically, it's bartering value for information. What could be this information? Give me your email ID, and I'm going to give you a free ebook about how to be, the best digital marketer in the world. So this is an example of bartering of value. So it is an indirect marketing, and it is non-transactional marketing. There is no transaction involved usually in content marketing. So now again, like digital marketing, with like social media marketing, content marketing also has got its own process. It's actually very similar to what we discussed previously in the social media marketing. It is, you create a goal, you create buyer and user personas, you choose the right platform, and you can create a content audit. And audit is very, very important for most of your efforts, because you need to understand if the marketing efforts that you're doing, is it really helpful for you? I mean, is it really bringing in value for you? So that's one of the first part of the content marketing process. Second part is to choose the best CMS. A CMS is a content management system. A really good example would be WordPress. A content management system is any system on which your content lives. In our course, you would learn how to create a WordPress website, but ideally, it is going to be a blog, a platform. It could be a blogging platform like Medium. It could be a question and answer platform like Quora. Could be anything. So you choose the best CMS for the right purposes. You research on the best content ideas. In the past 1 year, especially, there has been a tendency for a lot of people to do their research on ChatGPT, or probably ask ChatGPT to come up with the best content. But what happens is there is a dilution of creativity. There is no originality anymore. Then, so content marketing. The core thing is you have to research, come up with the best content ideas all your own. You can definitely use AI tools, but then you would have to have the human touch, something that makes it gives it that extra oomph. Important thing is to choose the right content. You don't want to create content that probably your audience wouldn't understand, or probably wouldn't even care about, right? So choose the right content, and finally publish and manage your content, and repeat and conduct your audit and things like that. We come into the most important, at least for me, the most important part of digital marketing, which is search engine optimization, or SEO. It is also in so many ways the most misunderstood part of SEO, because of digital marketing, because people tend to think that SEO relies on something that is really mm, uh, analytical, and that it has got a lot of technical components that can't be translated. Or marketing generally has got an understanding that it is a creative endeavor, and SEO seems to be a lot of technical aspects. And there's a lot of technical stuff that goes on in SEO. So, to give you a brief intro about SEO, I think in the space of our webinar now, we can just briefly go into a very broad, long distance view of SEO. So, SEO is basically you're performing optimization to increase the flow of organic traffic to your website. Now, it seems like a textbook definition, but simply putting, what it is trying to do is it is trying to make sure that people come and visit your site without you having to make any payments to maybe Google, or maybe any other platforms. You are trying to ensure that people organically, and we learned previously about organically is by not paying the platform. So you ensure that people come to visit your site without you having to pay a cent to any of these platforms. How do you do that? You do that with so many tools that you have at your disposal. So one of the key tools is a keyword. So you try to understand what are the keywords that are relevant to your industry. Let's say that you are a company that is manufacturing curtains. What could be your keyword? Your keyword could be curtains, blinds, could be motorized curtains. So things that are related with curtains. These could be the keywords. You try to optimize those keywords. You try to use the right keywords at the right places, so that if somebody searches on Google, let's say, the best curtain place near me, they are automatically invited to your website. You don't really have to pay Google 2000 $3,000 to make sure that they come down to your place. All you have to do is create interesting content and optimize your website in a way that organically they can come down to your place. Now, SEO is again broadly divided into on-page SEO and off-page SEO, and these terms are actually as huge, or as complex as dividing life into animal and the plant kingdom. But I'm just trying to give it a very brief overview. So there are two kinds. One is on-page SEO, and second is off-page SEO. On-page SEO refers to SEO that happens within your website, within your platforms. So let's say that you have a website. Again, going back to the curtain manufacturing example, you have a website that promotes curtains and curtain products. So you try to ensure that there is your title tags. When you're having your content in your website, you're having multiple title tags. The title tags could be anything from, these are basically headings, could be anything from H1 to H6. We will learn definitely in greater detail during our course, but these are things for you to understand, that there are ways that you can actually recreate content in your website in a way that anybody who's searching for the products that you're selling can organically come down to your place. It is not an overnight thing. It's not a magic trick. It takes time. It takes a really good SEO campaign could take anywhere from 4 months to 6 months. Which is actually a good job security for SEO specialists, right? But ideally, this is the thing. But once you have the foundation of SEO set up for your business or for your page, you wouldn't really have to go back into paid advertising a lot. You still need to do your paid advertising, but not really a lot. Off-page SEO is SEO or optimization that happens outside your website. So this could be like, you have, let's say, yellow pages. You got directories that list out your products, your services. You go ahead and list your business in one of those directories, so that anybody who's scrolling through that directory can get back to you. Right? They can come back to your website. They can purchase your products. You ask an influencer to mention your brand. Hey, purchase this product from this business. This is a brand mention. I mean, probably the influencer example is taking it a bit forward, but a brand mention could be your brand, your product, or your service being featured in a local newspaper. This is going to create a very large onslaught of organic traffic that will come down to your website or your landing pages, basically. So there are a lot of techniques that we use these days for SEO. Everything from recreating the architecture of your website to understanding about what would be the optimal number of keywords per page, what is the keyword density, and things of that sort. So that's SEO. SEM is search engine marketing. So these are the paid ads, and this is actually a bit more straightforward than SEO. Next, we come to email marketing. This is actually one of the oldest methods of digital marketing, email marketing. You're just sending out a mail to a prospective user, and you're sending out the mail hoping that he gets converted to a customer. Um, as the process itself is defined, it is not really an extremely efficient way to do it unless you are using interesting tools. You're using technology. You're using techniques to ensure or to lure the user into opening the email so that he can read what you have to offer. So there are things like the subject, maybe the topic. If you find an email saying that, hey, send me your bank account details, nobody is going to open that email. They're probably going to block you. So then there is a way to ensure that the right positioning or the right messaging goes to the user who gets this message. So you use the right subject, you use the right topic. You use CTA. What is a CTA? A CTA is a call to action. So basically, it's a button. So let's say that you receive an email from I don't know, Starbucks maybe, and it says that there's a new frappuccino that is available. So click here to redeem a discount code. The click here is the CTA. So you have to ensure that you use the right CTA at the right place, and you have to use the right images as well. And it is very easy to go wrong with email marketing. It's very easy to be mistaken for a spam company. There are so many tools. I mean, the most important one, or at least the one that is the most familiar to a lot of people, is Mailchimp. So you use tools like that. Apart from Mailchimp, there is SendMail, there is SendInGrid. There are multiple a plethora of tools actually to help you to efficiently do email marketing. But the entire goal of email marketing is ideally help people to understand more about the products and the services that you're selling, and ensure that they click and they purchase these things from you. So finally, we have discussed in I think an obscenely short amount of time all about what are the different kinds of marketing. A sort of overview would be, we have discussed about the strategy. We discussed about what is the difference between traditional marketing and digital marketing and why it is so important right now. We have discussed a bit about what are the different 6 different kinds of marketing, and what are the processes, what are the tools that we could use to ensure that we get the best results for our clients. Now, if any of these things interest you and you would like to take it forward, you're invited to join our crash course in digital marketing, which is scheduled to happen on November 11th. So it's going to be a 1 month course. It's a total of 10 hours, which will be spread over 4 weeks' time. It's going to happen on every Saturday. It would contain a lot of live classes. There are no pre-recorded sessions. It's going to be entirely live. I would be taking the majority of the classes, but I'll be joining by a bunch of very interesting people who know more about me about things like creating a chatbot, for instance, or how do you ensure that you use the right AI tool. So the goal of the crash course is for beginners to understand all about digital marketing and what are the ways that you could use it to improve your offerings or your customers' offerings. There are going to be five certifications as a part of the course. One would be the Google My Business certification. Second would be Allison, SEMrush, Google SEO certification, and the HubSpot certifications. Now, we would be, during the duration of the course, you would be getting access into contents and preparatory materials so that you could take these certifications, and those certificates are going to be certified directly from those companies. They are some of the best in their field. SEMrush is probably the most important SEO company in the world, I think. And Google Ads and Google My Business, how relevant they would be to a digital marketing course. The course would be so within 1 month the training or the theory and the practical part gets completed. The next 1 month would be an on-the-job training where you would be training with our company in either in UAE or in US. It would be a remote position, so which means you could do it in the course of your regular job. You would have to invest maybe 3 to 4 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. You During the on-the-job training part of it, you would be learning a lot of very interesting real-life applications of what you have learned in the previous month. So whatever you learned about SEO, whatever you learned about digital marketing or SEM, all these things would be applicable during this 1 month of on-the-job training. Now, after the on-the-job training part, we are trying to ensure that the people who attempt the course and have displayed an interesting sort of knowledge of what we're trying to explain, and who have received the certifications, all these five certifications, we give them an opportunity to join us for a 6 months paid internship as well. uh, the 6 months paid internship would be dependent on how you perform during your 1 month of on-the-job training. Again, the 6 months paid internship is a remote position. You're not bound to come down to our facilities in UAE or US to be a part of it. The paid internship, you would be paid a stipend, which would be dependent on the tasks that are given to you. So during your on-the-job training part, we would be able to analyze what part of marketing can we fit you on. Are you a more creative person? Are you somebody who's a more analytical minded? So based on this, we could probably fit you on the right tracks. And after your on the job training is completed, and you complete the tasks that are assigned to you during your on the job training, you would be eligible for the paid internship as well. So that's something interesting if any of you wants to take this forward. So I think that just about takes us to the end of our very short, very rushed webinar. If any of you have got any questions or any doubts, I think now would be a good time. Any questions? Cool. So I hope that things have been clear. If you have any doubts or if you want to follow up with our team, you have the contact details. You've got the email ID. You've got the phone number, and I think there is an onboarding form as well. If you're interested in being a part of any of